The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of the staff or management of Visionary Related Entertainment.
Aloha and welcome to Maui Nonprofit Notes, where each week you'll find a stalking story with Maui's nonprofit executive directors and staff to find out how they're working to support those with needs within our community. Maui Nonprofit Notes is generously sponsored by Pacific Source. If you're building or remodeling a home, please stop by Pacific Source's Cabinet and Appliance Showroom, located in the Waikapu Bayshard. I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific, and your host for Maui Nonprofit Notes. For those of you who may be listening for the first time to this weekly show, during the hour we share some of the experiences of our nonprofit agencies and just how they're changing lives, changing communities, and creating miracles of hope for those with needs. Today we're going to be talking with some folks from MEO's, MEO Business Development Center. That's what it's called now, right? Mm-hmm. And from the Maui Farm, we're welcoming Craig Swift, the director of MEO's Business Development Center, and Paula Ambre, the executive director of the Maui Farm. Hi there, both of you.
Aloha, Susie.
Hi, Susie. Thanks for having us on.
Hey, my pleasure, my pleasure. Seems like an interesting combination, the Maui Farm and the Business Development Center. You have anything in common?
We have.
People.
People, right. People. Craig, tell us about MEO Business Development Center.
MEO Business Development Center. So you want to start your own business, okay? And you have a great idea for your business, but you don't know where to start. That's usually the case, right? So you need help planning and possibly financing and your business startup or expansion. So we at the Business Development Center can help you. How can we help you, you may ask? Is write your business plan. So we have business plan writing courses on a regular basis, and I'll give you some dates coming up. And then develop your business idea. So often, even before the plan, you need to kind of develop your business idea. And then also we have a microloan program, so obtaining financing to get you started. Because as a startup business, as most of us know, that's often a difficult challenge, and we don't advocate debt, but sometimes you need a little help, and so we're there as well. So Maui Economic Opportunity, most of you are aware of, but we're a nonprofit organization here in the community, and most of the services that we provide are no cost or low cost. So just want to let you know that. And we do get grant funds from the county and private foundations, so we can help you out. Don't let the cost of the course is $300, but we have financial aid, and most people are able to take advantage of that, either all of it or some of it. So
there's somebody out there that's doing a similar kind of program on one of the neighbor islands who asks for the $300 to be paid up front, and then if you complete the course, you get it back. Have you guys ever thought about doing that? I mean, that's a pretty big outlay for a lot of the clients you have.
Some of the clients, again, our target population with MEO is that of the low and certainly moderate income. So for some of them, it would be a
challenge for some of them.
Exactly, that they wouldn't attend it. We want to be there for those that help, and particularly now with the community, and as we know what's going on, is that there's people are going to need to look at the possibility of some kind of self-employment. There's
maybe looking at 600 people.
That's
from one business over the next year or so.
Yeah, unfortunately, that may be the case.
But we shouldn't chuckle about that. That's not anything to laugh at.
It's not. But there is going to be a segment of people that do want to they want to go into business for themselves. And where do you start? They haven't maybe had any kind of formal business background, but that's not to stop you again, because the course we offer is a 36-hour, 6 weeks course, and it's guaranteed to give you the confidence, at least moving forward. And the good thing about that is you get your ideas down, you write a good business plan, and if it isn't feasible or viable, basically it's on paper, and you haven't taken your life savings and jumped in the deep end, which, we don't want to see people
Right.
do with small businesses, Susie knows.
Not from experience, by the way.
But just, getting back to the people and the diversity of our students and the community that comes to the class is that, it's great seeing Paula here and knowing in her working with her clients as she has in the past, and seeing their ideas and their inspiration and dreams of going on and doing something on their own. So I don't know if you want to comment on that, Paula, but...
I'd love to. I think one of the things that I really appreciate about the Core 4, help me out with the name of the Core 4 Business
Planning
class. And we have had a handful of the mothers who are served at the Maui farm. These are generally single mothers who are homeless due to domestic violence and economic challenges. And so for a lot of these families, they're figuring out how to leave the family violence behind and go forward, being able to support their family, earn a livable wage, and plan for a career front. So that's been the exciting thing about partnering with MEO and the small business program, because it encourages entrepreneurship. It allows families who are not going to be successful perhaps in the traditional workforce to create home businesses where they can have an online. And we had one mom do an amazing job at that. She had small children. She needed to be at home. Childcare is very expensive, and so it was more cost effective for her to stay home with her children and create a home business, and she had an idea. And after going through this program, she's now doing quite well. I'm not exactly sure how to describe the product that she serves, but not only does she have national interest, but she has some international clients as well. So you never know what's the ripple effect of this. So we're thrilled that MEO is doing this, because those moms who are interested in this kind of training, we can send them there and they get a great service and great support.
Well, that's wonderful. I kind of had a personal experience with my niece. Called me a couple of weeks before Christmas, and she said, "Susie, I remember you talking about the business class and doing business plans and stuff." And she said, "We're thinking about opening a fish shop or a fish market." She lives in Minnesota. And I said, "What?" Her husband sells fresh fish, all kinds of fish, and she's a nurse. And I said, "Why would you want to give up what you're doing?" Because, they've got it made, to start a new business. And she says, "That sounds negative." And I said, "No, I'm just saying, why?" And she said, "Because we want to be independent. We want to, our own life." And I said, "A fish market I don't think is going to give you your own life. But let me not stop you. Let me give you the tools to go through the process." Well, 2 weekends ago, they went and stayed at somebody's house who has a fish market like the one they want to do. And they spent the weekend working the fish market. You can imagine when she called me after they got done with it, she goes, "Oh, were you right?" And I said, "Gee, about what?" But she's got all the tools, and she said they're going to pursue it a little more, because that family now has the third generation running the fish market. Mom and Dad were able to retire out of the market at the ripe old age of like 42 and leave it to the kids, all ready to run. So very successful thing. They love their fish up in the north woods, right? And so she's got a lot of the stuff that I used when I was teaching this class with, for MEO. And I never thought it would come in handy in my family, but there it is. So we'll see how she progresses. I'll keep you informed.
Well, that's, it's typical. It's typical for people. If you think about it, controlling your own financial destiny, that could be huge. And if that's a motivator. But what's good about the Core 4 is, let me tell you just quickly on the Core 4 what they are. So the first core basically is a self-assessment. And that's where, just what Susie was saying, it's not for everyone. If you want to get your paycheck and come home and not worry about anything, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. And so many business owners just are not, or want to be business owners, are not aware of the time that they need to dedicate. So that kind of leads into really looking at it, doing some self-assessment, and also the passion. So, we talked about feasibility, viability. There's got to be the desirability. So you gotta want and love what you're doing, or else it generally is not going to work. But the motivating factors are they're numerous. Each individual, each family that I've worked with, they're all a little different. They're all unique, and the creative juices get going, and you get excited about something. And Maui's been a wonderful place. I mean, you just put Maui, made in Maui, on your product. Is that in and of itself not a blessing?
Yes. A lot better than saying made in Fargo.
But I think it's such and I'm hoping Craig will go through the rest of the 4, but I just wanted to say that assessment is so important for a lot of people. And if you don't have that kind of support within your own family and friends, it's great to know that you can go to a class like this and really assess before you, like you said, leap and start investing a lot of dollars there. So I think that it's a great place to come and vet your idea, and not only feedback from the class, but if you go all the way through, you'll hear from bankers and other business people that are going to give you feedback about your business, challenges that you may face, ways you need to be prepared. But if we want people to be creative and entrepreneurial and small business development, these are the kinds of things we need. So this is a great program.
We know that, don't we?
We do. We do from,
It's wonderful,
the
but it's always
success
great to
stories.
hear it from somebody
It
who
is. And
knows
thank you,
somebody who's
Paula.
gone through the program. Thanks.
Yeah.
So keep on.
Yeah. So then moving along on a core 4. So the next thing we get into is where we spend the most time. And that's what's the marketing. So the marketing review and putting together a marketing plan. Now, why would we want to spend the most time there? Don't have a business without customers. So, and it can be a little daunting. People look and then they say, oh, market research. I wouldn't know where to start with that. But really, you break it down, and that's where we get the confidence building that, yes, you can do it. And Maui, as we know, have wonderful resources. We've got the Maui County, the Business Resource Center at the Maui Mall, the SBDC over in Kihei, Maui Economic Development Board. In other words, the list goes on, as Susie knows, and workshops are readily available, most of which are free. So even after the class, continuing on to get your basics down, and everyone's going to have a weakness. People, well, I can't go into business. I don't like numbers. I don't like accounting. Well, don't let that stop you, because there are classes at the college, continuing ed classes. Just get enough information to know it, and then figure out your budget and afford to get other people. Of course, and things are changing. Social media, so on and so forth. So how you do business is always changing. So it's part of what you're buying into, and that's kind of fun too, because entrepreneurship is one of constantly learning and going back and changing, because the marketplace is going to change.
Right. Yep.
So we are, always excited to see new classes. We've got a class that started up the first of this year, and we're halfway through that. But right around the corner is going to be our next class. So let me give you a quick date or two here too. And what we do is we offer before the sessions a 1-hour introductory. And this is good because, you can find out a little more about the class and what you're committing to. Because believe me, it sounds like, 36 hours, 6 weeks, that'll be how life goes. It is a big commitment. And what we do is the next class coming up will be in the evening on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 until 9 in the evening. And then right after that session, starting in May, we'll have a day session. So the day sessions go from 9 to noon. So if whatever works best for you, please give us a call. But getting back to the
4 cores.
Yes, we stopped at marketing.
Can't leave out the last 2.
Okay, so next of the core is the numbers. So we're talking cash flow. And Susie and I have worked with a lot of small businesses, and unfortunately, a lot of the businesses that have the most promise, where they get stopped is their cash management. And if you don't understand that cash management, Susie knows, because you're growing. And Susie, why don't you let us know why, when you're growing, that becomes such a problem?
For a lot of the folks that get started in business, they start seeing that cash come in the door. And the first person they think of is them. And it's like, oh my gosh, look, all of a sudden I'm making money. Well, you're not. It's not yours yet. You've got plans, you've got commitments. If your business is growing, you're probably going to have to increase the inventory supply that you have. How are you going to pay for that? Not by taking that check home and buying a new TV or a new car or whatever it is. So many businesses get hung up at that point. They've stepped off kind of like the edge of the world into a new world, and they don't know how to handle it. And so if you think that when you first start seeing money coming in the door that it's yours, you're in trouble. You need to go back and look at your plan and see where that money is. It's not promised as such, but it's what's the word I want? You need to set it aside. It's not yours. Take what minimal amount you need to live if you need to. Some people start their own businesses. They have some retirement funds or whatever. They figure they can live on that for 6 months while the business gets started. If you don't have that and you need minimal income, okay, take that out. But don't go crazy. That's how you get in trouble. All of a sudden you go out and you start looking for loans. The banks look at you like, you've been in business 5 months. You have nothing. Why would we loan you money? Well, I need inventory. Well, what happened to the money that came in from the first round of inventory you had? You get to sit there and say, I spent it.
So yeah, right. That's spot on, Susie. And you know the fact that with the businesses is you do get you get excited. You want a piece of new equipment, or you want to maybe take on a hire or two because you got to get this big order out. But at the end of the day, the first of the month, when the rent's due and everything else and payroll and there is no money in the bank, you're stopped. And so cash management is a big part of what we talk. Now, this isn't a financing class, not an accounting class. This is cash management and understanding a big difference between managing cash and so-called profit, because there is a big difference.
Right,
And then following the cash management.
Hang on just 1 second. We're going to stop after the third one. We're going to take a quick break and come back for number 4.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes. Each week we talk about what's happening with the executive directors and their organizations here on Maui and how they're helping folks. In this case, we're talking about how they can achieve their business success. Or actually, I look at the Core 4 class and I say it's kind of a, what's the word I want? It's kind of setting it out there and saying, okay, you think you want to be in business. You think you want to be an entrepreneur. You want to make some money at it. Can you do it? Can you go to work after 5 days of no income? Nobody walked in the door to buy anything. Does that get you down quick? All these little things that can happen that you think, boy, I am in business. Of course people are going to come in. Are they? So we do the 4 cores. We've talked about the first 3, which are number 1 is?
Success planning.
There you go. Number 2?
We go into marketing.
Number 3?
Is the cash flow management.
And now the all-important number 4.
We're talking operations in general. So this area that we get into, the marketing takes a lot of creative thought. It takes imagination, so on and so forth. There isn't a lot of imagination when you go down to the Well, don't go down to the Business Resource Center and start picking up tax forms. That doesn't take a lot of imagination. But that's the reality. Can we operate without paying taxes? No. Okay. But then we can do some fun things with that too. It's like, okay, how do we go about naming our business? You know, what exactly is a logo? And why do we need a logo? And what about insurance? People say I need a lot of insurance. Okay, so these are all areas of operation. So they're the nitty-gritty, and we cover all that. We have a lot of the students in the class, obviously, are it's going to be a home occupation, which is wonderful. And a lot of the students in the class are not looking to do something full-time. What we see in the community itself is a lot of what we call kind of a patch income. So you're doing something. Let's say you want to make something and you want to go to the swap meet. Is the Core 4 right for you? Absolutely. We're not looking for you to go out there and be the next Microsoft. So if you can add to your income and you can find the time to do it, you still need to do it right. You'll still need to get the taxes paid. You're still going to need to get yourself registered, and you're going to need to keep up on things like insurance and your marketing. So we stress a lot, as Susie knows, is that people will take usually something that they're passionate about and want to do a business. So while they're doing that, let's say it's baking. So you're baking and you love baking. You're working in the business. But if you're your own business owner, what you have to do is you have to work on your business. So you do have to take the time to file the taxes every month or quarter or whatever the case may be. You have to take the time to put together a marketing plan and get out there and do that. And you have to interact with customers. So there's a lot of things that you're doing that you're not working necessarily in the business. If it was a service business, they're not billable hours, but you've got to find the balance there. And that too is something that we stress and people have to understand that haven't owned their own business before.
Right. It's all the time that it takes to prepare for that 2 minutes you have in front of a customer. Right?
Yeah.
I was always intrigued with people. You talked about coming up with a name for your business. I was always intrigued with things people thought of to call their business. And it's like this eye-opening thing when you say, why don't you put what you're doing in that name somehow? You go by a store that says RFS Inc. What? INC being the ink. What do they do? Why would you ever stop there? What's in the window? What attracted you? It's not the name. So, like for somebody who wants to do an RFS Inc., you got to come up with a trade name. What's the business going to be called? Jack's Diner. Okay, now you're a restaurant. Everybody knows what that is. So simple. But why make it difficult? I mean, I keep. There were so many times when people had worked so hard to come up with a name that was so original, and yet it told nobody anything. There was one guy who named it after his 4 daughters. Kind of a combination of parts of their names. And I'm going, you can't pronounce it, let alone tell what it is. I realize that, you think you're doing something for your girls, but why don't you name a sandwich after each one of them or something in your shop?
And this is why people need like this advice and some place to go where they can like bounce these ideas and get some feedback to answer some of these questions. And excuse me. And I think that's why this course, because of the length of it, the support that's developed, and that MEO continues to be available to help its clients. And so anyway, I just think that it's a wonderful thing that people can take that idea, but there's so much to learn. And if you've never done business, I mean, you folks are very experienced business people sitting here at this table. Not everybody is. They need that introduction. And so this is just an important resource for people with a good idea, but needing some good guidance.
Right. And that's what Craig and his staff offer. And then, Paula, you mentioned earlier that there's also bankers involved in this program with you.
What we do at the end of the session, each session, is we have what we call a graduation night, banker's night. And of course, I guess the day sessions we call it a banker's luncheon, but we like to give certificates. And I tell the students that the certificate is just a piece of paper, but it says a lot. It says a lot when they go out in the community and they start to work with other organizations and with bankers and getting their checking account. If they let these institutions know that they have taken Core 4, they get a credibility right there and then, because they're familiar with the program. It's been here thanks to people like Susie and those before that have really made it a part of the Maui community fabric. And so people understand, hey, if you're committed, you take the Core 4, you get a certificate of completion, you've done something, you know. Maybe all of them don't have the business plan with the bells and whistles quite completed, but
right.
they've started.
They've started
and
on
they've
right.
listened. So,
and I think there's a piece too in that says, you know, not everyone who completes the class is going to start something.
right.
Matter of fact,
That's a very good point.
There
Yeah.
may be more who don't
Yeah.
because they've learned
Yeah.
what it's going to take, and they don't see themselves doing it.
Yeah.
Or they find themselves in a situation where it's going to take more money to start
Yeah.
it, or they've got to find a better supplier to supply
Right.
what they need for it because they have to sell more quantity than they had expected to make money. And so they may put it on the shelf. I mean, I'm still walking into, like, the other night at the grocery store, the lady at the cashier says, "Hey, Susie, you still teaching?" And I said, "No." You know, and she said, "Oh, man," she said, "that was the greatest class in the world." And I said, "Hey, keep up with it. You know, go back for a refresher.
Yeah.
Are you going to do something with it?" And she said, "Eventually, but I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
I'm still stashing away some money on the side to put myself in better position when I start it." And it's like I haven't been
awesome.
there for 5 years, you know, and she's still thinking about the class.
So that is so true. When I was just thinking about clients we were working with, a lot of them had taken the course 2 or 3 years ago. But it's like anything, you know, it's something. It's knowledge. You're not going to lose the knowledge. You're going to put it in your back pocket when it's time to come back out. Now we do, as Susie, you can come back and audit any of the classes. So let's say you missed a class on the cash, or you know that was an area that you wanted. Okay, now I'm getting more serious about starting the class. So, you know, it's not one at the end of the session.
It's not the end.
It's not the end, and it may not be the right time because there's a lot of reasons that it isn't the right time. But having that knowledge is something that no one's going to be able to take away from you, and it's a lot of information. So, but again, it takes some dedication. We want to see those that go into the class to stay in there early on. We say after the first class, if this isn't for you, then fine, you know. But if you want to see this through, please, you know, be dedicated and committed to that commitment.
Better to have taken the class and not started your business than to not take the class and lose all your savings or investment.
20% of businesses will be around so that's 2 out of 10, Susie, around after 2 years
Right.
without a well thought out business plan.
Right.
If you have that business plan, 8 out of the 10 will be around. So it just, that alone.
If that doesn't wake you up, I don't know what will. And the other thing that's interesting about the business plan, you know, some people look at it and say, okay, I wrote my plan, and then they put it up on the shelf. Your business plan is a constant moving document. Things change. Life changes. You may start out selling baked goods and end up being a lunch wagon. Who knows? Or go even further off the chart and be teaching surfing lessons. Whatever. But you've got a plan that's got pieces in it, and you just change those as you go along to fit what the current situation is.
Right, because the marketplace is changing. If you're not changing, then there's going to be a problem. But again, then you can draw on the basic business principles, and that's what Susie is saying, is that even though it sounds like, well, if I learn how to be a business baker, how can I be a business barber? And you're applying the same principles. So you're changing, and if that's what the market needs, and that's where the customers are, then that's where you need to go.
Right. And if you got the skills to do it, go for it.
Yeah.
Very good. Thanks, Craig.
So on the course, please call us at MEO, or just stop by any day, Monday through Friday from 8 to 4. And the next class will be starting on March 8th.
Okay.
March 8th. And those orientation classes, one at the Business Resource Center from 12 to 1, March 2nd, And the second orientation, March 3rd from 6 to 7 at MEO. And again, March 8th, which will be a Tuesday, from 6 to 9 will be the first class. So enrollment is simple. We can let you know if you're going to get the tuition waiver, and we just love to see you. Just hope that all of you out there, keep your dreams, and if we can be a part of it and help you with your small business, thank you.
Great. That phone number is 249-2990. Give Craig or his staff a call and find out more about it. Even if you just are thinking, get some more information so you can think a little harder. And someday you'll take the class.
There you go.
Yeah, and it'll be actually, a lot of people say it's helped them personally as well.
Yeah.
With their personal finances.
Yeah.
Because they can more center in on what's important to them and their family. So even if you never start your business, you've got a real grounded feeling for what's happening. Wonderful. Thanks, Craig, for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you again for having me.
Hey, it's always a pleasure.
And always a pleasure to see Paula, and look forward to our next visit, next talk.
There you go. And I'll bet Paula's going to have a few more people to send over your way.
I got the dates down. I was writing copiously.
Because it's a great thing. And the home-based
what's an
business,
hour out of your life to do an introductory class and find out if this is something that may have some benefits to you? So I think that, I would really encourage everybody, if you've been at all thinking about it, just commit to that 1 hour and see where it takes you. But I love when Craig said, let them help you make your dreams a reality. And this is a business planning opportunity that will help you to determine if that dream can be real. So it's all very exciting to me.
Cool. Very good. Very good. Thanks, Craig.
You're welcome.
Okay, we're going to shift gears and we're going to talk to Paula now, and we'll let Craig ask her some questions. The Maui farm. Tell us, is this truly a farm?
Well, it's so interesting that you would talk about a name, because that has been a comment about us over the years. But indeed, the Maui farm is much more than just a farm, but we are a nonprofit organization whose programs are all farm-based and family-centered. And we have an 8-acre campus in the Makawao area that includes a 2-acre educational farm. And our core programs are that we provide a residential program on our campus. We provide transitional housing and support services for families who are homeless due to domestic violence and economic challenges, and who are committing to leaving the family violence behind, who need a period of transitional housing and support so that they can move forward into affordable housing in the community and be successful in self-sufficient living. And we've been providing residential programs for over 20 years in our community. And for about the last 4 to 5 years, we've also added some farm-based educational programs for our community. So we're a site for field trips, we're a site for volunteerism, both group and individual, internship opportunities, community service opportunities. And so if it's farm-based and family-centered, we're interested about it at the Maui Farm.
And you truly are making your business fit the name.
Well, it has always been a question, because you say the Maui Farm, and so some people would say, oh, you're the Farm Bureau. No. You grow orchids? No. We get the periodic call. But the reality is that the Maui Farm as a place, there is a sense of place. And since 1993, when we first opened our doors and began providing farm-based and family-centered programming for kids in foster care, kids who could not be, did not have family who could care for them, kids who were in what they called the state system, and we were providing a home for them. And during their time at the farm, a big part of our programming was that they were up on our educational farm with all the healing benefits, learning how to care for farm animals, which helps you to learn how to care for yourself, learning how to grow your own food, about the importance of caring for the Aina, being good environmental stewards. So we've always been about how can our farm and garden and animal programs help people to have a greater joy in their life, and also a healing that can come from that.
Is there still a part of the foster program?
There is not.
Okay.
So in about the mid-2000s, the state of Hawaii kind of made some changes to how it was where it was placing its young people in foster care and choosing family-style family homes rather than group settings. And so we had to make some difficult business decisions. And as Craig was talking about the realities, and I'm commenting on that, we've been through a couple of times where we have had to take a look at who we are, what are our strengths and assets, and how do we move forward, given that there's oftentimes changes in our community or our systems that cause us to have to rethink what we do and how we do it. And so we made an adjustment in the mid-2000s based on input from our community. As we said to them, the state is not really supporting putting kids in group homes any longer. We have this beautiful campus. We have our 2-acre farm. We have residential housing. How do you think we can best support our community? And the bulk of the replies that we received were, Maui Farm, you serve one youth from a family at a time. What if you served that whole family and prepared them to move forward intact, healthier, with a plan and an opportunity for them to experience greater success? And so while today we are not serving youth who are in the foster care system, we're working with families who are at high risk for their children to be removed and placed in the system due to abuse, neglect, family violence, poverty, lots of different things. And so we believe we're still delivering on our mission of farm-based
Right.
and family-centered programming, but if we're successful now in our family strengthening program and keeping that family together and preventing those children from going into foster care, that's actually a much greater gift than working with kids who are already in that system.
That's exciting. Wow, what a way to grow.
I think it's been the natural progression, and we're very happy with the work that we're doing now. And when I see some of the successes, and I've been reflecting a little bit as Craig was talking about some of these families who came in without a plan. And when they left, they had a plan. They had a business model. They had their GET tax card. They were all set up and ready to roll. That's empowerment.
Right.
That is saying that despite the challenges that life can throw our way, that there's a lot of support, and Maui's a very supportive community, that there are people out there who want to see you succeed. And if you are committed and you're willing to do the work, your future can be very much brighter than the past that you're leaving behind.
And we're going to talk more about that right after this break.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And welcome back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, your weekly radio show where we talk story with Maui's nonprofit organizations to find out what they're doing to keep Maui the best it can be. And helping folks with issues, I guess I could say issues, maybe more than, issues, needs, kind of everything. Mm-hmm. And the Maui Farm is who we're talking to right now. Actually, we're talking to the executive director of the Maui Farm, Paula Ambre, and she's telling us how they've had to change some strategies over the years and how that fit in with what we talked about the first half of the show with Craig Swift of MEO's Business Development Center. Funding is always an issue for nonprofits. I don't care who you are. You can say you may have a stockpile of money someplace, or a major benefactor who sends a big check every year or whatever. But there's always those everyday expenses that nobody seems to want to cover. They want to cover a special program. They want their name on this or that or whatever. Mm-hmm. How do you handle that?
You know, it's The funding of a nonprofit organization, in my opinion, is very much like a jigsaw puzzle, especially when you're a small organization. And it is piecing together various parts that come together to fully sustain the operations of an organization. Certainly government funding is very important, and we want to always acknowledge the County of Maui for its the generosity is in allocating the resources. The nonprofits do the hard work. They've earned them, but the county makes those resources available to support programs like our Family Strengthening Program because they know that it improves the quality of life in our community. And so county funding, state funding, federal funding, these are very important kind of cores for any nonprofit organization. But we also have to diversify our funding picture, and part of that has to do with engaging the support of private foundations. These can be large family foundations, they can be small family foundations, they can be corporate, etc. But we've been very targeted at the Maui Farm in terms of writing grants to a number of different kinds of foundations. And Susie and I traded some emails. She congratulated us on our Flex grant through the Hawaii Community Foundation. We just had put out our press release. And not unlike the kudos to the county, I want to send my kudos to the Hawaii Community Foundation for developing a very innovative program to assist nonprofit organizations in finding those, what you're talking about, Susie, unrestricted dollars.
There you go.
Those dollars that we can bring into our organization and put them to use where they need to be. A lot of people, like you said, would like a building, but I've got to pay for the electricity for that building too. So, the various kinds of expenses. So what the Hawaii Community Foundation did is create an innovative program called its Flex Grant, and it is to acknowledge high-performing nonprofit organizations who are able to demonstrate their benefit to the community, that they're working hard to sustain their organization, and that they have strong business plans in place. And we received a $42,500 grant through the Flex Foundation, Flex Grant program through the Hawaii Community Foundation this year. It was such an affirmation for us that what we are doing to sustain our organization during tough times is really being recognized by those who scrutinize such things.
Right. Is that a rather large size?
That's a very large size. The top that they were issuing at this round was $50,000. So to be in that top tier as a very small organization meant a great deal to us, and to be acknowledged again because we have been working hard. We've got a very active board of directors and a very committed staff team, and we want to make sure that the Maui Farm will be here to serve children and families in our community long after we all move to our next endeavors.
Wonderful. Yeah, 42.5. Wow.
Very exciting. And, lots of other foundations who have been supporters of ours over the years. There's statewide foundations like the Baldwin Foundation and the Cook Foundation and the Atherton Family Foundation, different ones like that have been very generous to Hawaii's nonprofit organizations. Many organizations look outside the state, and they're bringing in grant funds from private foundations located elsewhere. That's an economic stimulus.
Right.
So the work that nonprofits do in bringing dollars to our community is a part of the bigger picture about how we keep a healthy community.
I was just thinking about that report that we gave to the county council a couple of years ago, and we showed the money that comes into the organizations, and I bet that figure would change, the percentage of government money, the percent of local money, and now, as you say, we're bringing in outside money to sustain our programs and to help our people. Mm-hmm. That's incredible.
I think it continues to grow, and I think another way in our community is we have a lot of individuals who are part-time residents, snowbirds, visitors, what have you. They maybe have a long history of giving in their home community, but Maui becomes home as well. And so we have been successful in reaching out to some of our newcomers, part-time residents, because I think that as a nonprofit organization, we all have the responsibility to help all of our community learn how they can be involved. And one of the ways that those who visit us part-time can be involved is by supporting some of the initiatives that would be close to their heart. So if it's business development or taking care of children or animals or what have you, that everyone out here can be supporting. And whether it's a financial support or an offer of volunteerism, both things make a big difference in a nonprofit organization. So we just want to encourage everybody to get involved in work in the community in ways that they are passionate about or feel strongly about. because you can make a difference even in a very small way.
Right. It brings me back to MEO for just a minute. Several years ago, we got quite a commitment from a part-time Lanai resident to support MEO and its programs. And that's continuing, right?
That's the Agape Foundation. There's an individual, as Susie said, a benefactor whose generosity has really enabled us. And thank you for bringing that up, because I missed Molokai and Lanai with our core 4 classes, both of which are going on. So it's not just here on Maui, but over on Molokai and Lanai as well. But as you say, Susie, without the benefactor, Agape Foundation, Mr. Mumford, that we probably wouldn't be able to. We'd be able to do the outreach. We'd be able to do some of the things, but these were small businesses that we were able to lend to directly, and we've been able to help them through a very difficult time with the hotel closures on Lanai over the past several years. As you know, it hasn't been an easy time for businesses and for the residents on Lanai. So again, yes, sometimes they make all the difference in the world, and it's nice to see. As you say, I think in meeting, I will once a month get a call from individuals that are here, maybe not on a full-time basis, but I want to help. Is there anything I can do? I come, with experience, and more times than not, they're well-to-do, but they really do want to give back to the community. So yeah, I think it's a resource that we should definitely be always looking to get help from.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. lots of connections out there, and I think that that's the kind of community that Maui is. We get to know each other, and that
Right.
ripple effect out there. So,
And I think that speaks to the marketing that you guys are all doing, whether it's internet things, tweeting, just being on the internet, the websites, even having stories in the newspaper. A lot of these people pick that up even on their handheld devices and read through and see what's going on. So when they see, I would think that when somebody sees that you've gotten a grant the size of this one you just got, that kind of opens the door for them maybe to think, well, gee, if they think it's worth that, why aren't I a part of it?
right.
And hopefully that river starts flowing.
There you go. So we're always anxious to receive those calls or those email inquiries that say, I've heard a little bit about your agency. Can you tell me more? I'd like to see if I'm interested in supporting. So we are, all nonprofit organizations really rely upon individuals, businesses in our community to help us raise the funds that cannot be raised any longer through government contracts. Organizations that are 100% dependent on government, you can't be 100% dependent on any one source.
Right.
And so it is the diversity. And so in addition to private foundations, and I do want to throw in, a lot of families are now starting family trusts and family foundations. They're smaller. They're guided by the values and the principles of that family. They're trying to not just have this generation, but the next generation be involved as well, and to keep that spirit of philanthropy. And those organizations oftentimes have passions that match with organizations in our community, and so that those family foundations can be very important. And we have a number that we receive, say, a $5,000 grant each year. That's huge for an agency like the Maui Farm, and that they
Right.
choose to continue to support us is further affirmation that we're being perceived as providing quality services.
Real quick before we have to call it quits, I feel like we haven't talked enough about the farm itself, but you have a Saturday tour.
We do. Every last Saturday of the month, the Maui Farm is open for a farm tour from 9 to 11. It is kind of a leisurely stroll through our gardens and crop fields, an opportunity to meet our friendly farm animals. We raise pigs and goats, and also have bunnies and chickens and a few others. And kind of a nice way to introduce your family to a garden, and maybe you're thinking about starting a garden, but you need some inspiration. Maybe a few plant starts. Maybe you'd like to learn how can I grow food for my family on my lanai? I don't have a yard, but I've got some pots and some potting soil, and we can give you helpful hints around that. So the farm tour is just a really nice upcountry day, and we would encourage you to think about the last Saturday of the month from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And what we do request is that you call our office at 579-8271, or send us an email at info@themauifarm.org. Let us know you're coming because we're going to need to give you directions. And we will confirm that, that you're coming, and we'll be watching for you. So those farm tours on the last Saturday of the month are kind of a nice family opportunity, and who doesn't want to get up country every now and again?
Gotcha. One more time, the phone number.
579-8271. And Susie, if people would like more information on our agency, I'd really encourage you to view our website.
That's a great website.
Thank you. www.themauifarm.org. And don't miss it on the homepage, the right-hand column. We've got a 6-minute video that really tells our story in a nice way.
It
so
does.
don't miss the video.
It does.
Did you view it?
I did, yes, and I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
And how many families now at any one time do you have in as residents?
Usually it's 8.
8. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, we have, we're a small campus, 4 residential homes. We use families share housing while they're with us, and generally speaking are with us from 6 to 12 months for our family strengthening
Gotcha.
program. The hardest part really is at the end, and that is finding affordable housing in our community. So again, big kudos to the county. They've let a lot of HUD vouchers out there. There's a lot more landlords who are interested in renting to people who have such vouchers, and we're seeing families getting housing quicker than we have in a very, very long time.
Wow, that's terrific. Terrific. Wonderful story. Wonderful work you're doing up there, Paula.
Thank you so much, Susie.
Keep it up. One last thing here before we have to close out today's show. The Mayor's Annual Small Business Awards deadline is coming up, and I'm sure you're saying out there, why are you talking about small business? Why aren't you talking about organizations? Well, guess what? One of the awards is for a business, an outstanding nonprofit small business award. Any nonprofit doing business in Maui County with 100 or fewer employees is invited to apply for this award. Now, you cannot self-apply. You must be nominated by someone, banker, friend, someone who thinks you're doing a great job. And we have one of those winners here sitting here.
I'd like to toot our horn. 2 years ago, Leland Kahavai from First Hawaiian Bank saw something in the Maui Farm and chose to nominate us for the Outstanding Nonprofit Business of the Year. So in 2014, we were named with that honor, and I have told this story many times. To be in a room full of business people as a nonprofit executive and being honored for our business work was one of the highlights. And so it's a great program. We acknowledge the county for putting that forward and encourage you out there, if you know a good a nonprofit that's making a difference, nominate them for that Small Business Award.
Very cool. The deadline's coming up. It's February 1st, so that's Monday, huh? You can download the information at mauicounty.gov/MCBRC. That's MCBRC, which stands for the Maui County Business Resource Center, or at mauichamber.com. So please go check it out, and if you know an organization that you feel is doing an outstanding job, please submit them the criteria that's on those forms. Wow. Seems like we've covered a lot of territory here today, huh?
I'll look forward to coming back, Susie. I still got things on my list I didn't get to.
Hey, that's good. That's good. We like it that way. Maui Nonprofit Notes is sponsored as a community service by Pacific Source, the builder's choice. Give Paul and his staff a call at 986-0380 or stop by their showroom in the Waikapu Base Yard on East Oahe Way to see how they can help you with your building project. Maui Nonprofit Directors Association's mission is to provide personal and professional support to nonprofit executive directors, their organizations, and the community of Maui. Please visit our website at mauinonprofit.org for a list of member agencies. And if you see one there that you're interested in learning more about, please go to their website or give them a call. Today we visited with MEO Business Development Center, Craig Swift. Give them a call at 249-2990. We also visited with Paula Ambre, Executive Director of the Maui Farm. Give her a call at 579-8261. 8271 to find out more about what's happening up there. We want to thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to join us again next week, same time, same place. KAOI Radio, 1110 AM, 96.7 FM, 96.5 FM on the west side. My name is Susie Tiemann. I'm the Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific and the host for Maui Nonprofits. What the heck is going on? and the host for Maui Nonprofit Notes. Thanks for joining us all. Have a great day. Have a great week. Aloha.